Matagal or time lapse. So yep, you're gonna take long, there's no time lapse. But bear with me, guys. Hello, Adine. I'm looking at the other phone so I can see your message. This is for a future video, maybe next week or next week. I decided to try this live just to show you guys. I mean, if it goes well, I can start doing a bit of live and building an engine, but so far we're not assembling an engine right now, so maybe soon. If this live goes well. I'm just testing this because it's a Sunday, so I decided to go to the workshop and check on this. But if the live goes well, then I can start doing this sometime midweek. It was actually ported before by me in 2018, so it's owned by Jasper, my friend. So he's planning to dyno his B18 again. So I said, he agreed that, we can improve it a bit more, so that on the dyno, we'll have no regrets. Because he could decide, on the dyno he could decide, let's port it again and all that. So, might as well do it now. This is 120 grit. What I do is I try to get this smooth just to see if there's a bump or because when it's rough you can't really see it. So now when it's all smooth like this, I can see if there's bumps. If there's no bumps, I make another pass with 80 grit just to keep it good texture on the roughness. Here, this is just alcohol and soapy water, just a mix. As you see, it's bubbling because it's actually dishwashing soap and a bit of alcohol. I realize it helps get it smooth like this. Because without that, you start to finish the sanding roll really fast. So it lets the sanding roll do its job better. I didn't what time is it there? Because right now here it's around 2:54 p.m. on a Sunday. So I just went to the workshop just to try this, to test it out, to see which of you guys are there live. But as soon as we figure out a better schedule, I can start doing that when I'm building an engine. So so everyone can ask while I'm doing this. Hey, John, Jeremiah, what's up? Where are you from? Yes, it's Sunday, and if you're here in the Philippines, mainit. Oh, 12:55 a.m. So it's a Sunday too, right? Because actually earlier I was planning to do this maybe around 9 p.m. here. So that's 9 p.m. plus 8 GMT. So I'm not really sure what time that is. Well, that's 6 hours from now. So that will be like 6 a.m. there. So yeah, that might be hard. So I think 12:55 is okay. Saturday night beers, you're still up right now? Because at 6 a.m. in the Sunday, we're all asleep. Yeah. Oh, nice. You have a B20 VTEC. That's cool. Yeah, we gotta, be careful with our engines right now because all the parts are super, super expensive now. I don't know why. Even the D20 block, at least like 5 years ago in the Philippines, it was like 18 to 20K. Now it's 45 to 50K. It's like crazy. Really glad it helped, improve yung B20 VTEC mo. That's really good. I mean, yeah, to be honest, the shop needs to earn money, so I have to make money. But at the same time, the more enthusiasts like us or like you, Jan, that's around, the better. It's more fun when there's a lot of cars racing on the track, having fun. So, just like before, like in the early days, it was always jam packed. That was fun. And actually, I learned a lot back then. So hopefully, it triggers the same trend right now. Like we get more enthusiasts involved in the serious aspects of their car. So and this also stop spending on incorrect parts. That's important. 'Cause like I said, it's expensive now. Get it smoother so you can see it better. That's true. That's true. But then it's funny because as the prices of the B series go up, it doesn't really make more K series project available. You know, there's still this. It's like parang habang tumataas, kumukonti lang nagbubuo, which doesn't make sense. You know, that's like it's starting to show you that sometimes the prices are just hyped. There's no backup. It gets hyped up, so it goes up the price, but there's not much enthusiasm that can back it up. Like I mean, I love K series. I've done a few K series heads for the guys in Australia for World Time Attacks. It was pretty cool and fun. But you know, they have to be honest. Like they're referencing the cheaper prices of a K24 block surplus, but you still need you know, a swap kit, swap mount kit, shifter, the ECU. Oh, beam. Oh wait, I can beam Sunbe Mars. I'm not sure how to read your name, but the factory manifold does not really have, well, especially the type R, the as long as it's factory, like you know, if it's like aftermarket, there's more bumps, but the type R in general is pretty decent. Even the flaws is just the whole point of me porting the manifold is here. Let me show you. At least now I can show it instead of the videos. As you can see here on this angle here, see the taper, the entry is a lot bigger than it was factory. So this is gonna generate better airspeed here. So that's gonna give you more torque, or it's gonna let you run a bigger cam. So that helps both ways. And it's still, it's still quite thick, you know. And plus, I've pointed this too much that got the hole. Had this welded, so it's gonna be fine. But it takes double work. But you can actually feel it like this. If it's getting too thin, then we slow down, right? But yeah, that's the beauty of the Type R manifold, the factory one. As long as it's a factory Honda, it's pretty decent. Like you almost don't need to port it if you're not running really big cams, or going to you know um extreme horsepower, or let's say you need a bit more compression instead of changing pistons. Well, you definitely going with pistons is a lot better, but with a better airspeed on the manifold, better flowing, that could help. Which also means you could also go with Skunk2 Ultra Street manifold. But over here, that's really expensive, so this is a good option. But, do we have those options? Thanks to Skunk 2, so that's good. Especially if you're in the US, just wait for a Black Friday sale. It's gonna be good. So yeah, I suggest checking the Skunk 2 website every once in a while, because sometimes they have this crazy sale, like they're just trying to get parts going, and I've seen people get Skunk 2 Pro 2 for like $400, brand new. That's crazy, right? with the stock with Jan with the stock B16B cams. If you saw the B16 EG hatchback that we did, for the owner's name is Anton, he had ITR cams lang. Medyo bitin siya sa B16B, right? But because bitin yung cams, I figured what would help was porting the manifold. This would give him more breathing room. So, nagmukha siyang akala mo naka B16B cams. Kasi pure 16, B16 lang siya. Nag 186 wheel horsepower sa Dynojet. And I've seen people build B16A na naka B16B cams make 160 lang. Eto, nag 186. ITR cams lang. The difference is the manifold. So even for example, maybe 16 ka, nag 178, 180 wheel horsepower, right? We can port the manifold and maybe baka mag 186 yun. Maybe even baka mag 190. It's at that point na mas mura na yung mag-port ng manifold kaysa magpalit ka ng cams. Kasi pag nagpalit ka ng cams, papalit ka din ng valve spring retainers. Tuloy-tuloy na yun. Kasi bababa pa yung head, you know. Of course, I have to change the head gasket. So, ang dami. Unlike mag-manifold lang, intake gasket, 150 pesos lang. Just go, pwede na yun. Yan, di ko pa, ayoko pa kita yung Yossi, baka maging issue sa YouTube, but yeah, nagsindi lang ako na Yossi. So yan o, pag ganito na siya kakinis, when it's this smooth, you can actually see if there's bumps or, you know, ridges. But when you do it with 80 grit, the texture is really good. The roughness is really nice, but it's hard to tell if there's bumps. Like for example here, now it's smooth. You can do this, like this. You can feel if there's bumps. And here too. So what I do is, when I move around my hand like this, if I see if there's a bump, like let's say here, I get a felt pen, mark that with ink, so when I make a pass, I know that one is the one that's giving me a bump, or it needs to be toned down. Because you know you can feel it, but when you start putting the cartridge roll or the sanding roll, it'll be hard to find where it is unless you make several passes. So having that ink there is gonna be easier. Well, actually it really depends on the what I call this, on the gains. But wait, do you mean the port job on the intake manifold or the head itself? Because on the intake manifold, even my videos on TikTok, they keep asking how much gains, and I keep explaining to them that it's hard to tell on the gains. Like for example, it may gain just 8 to 9 wheel horsepower. It'll just be like 8 to 9 wheel horsepower lang, right? What they don't realize is it also extends your RPM by 500 to 700 RPM. So you get to shift higher with power. So that 8 horsepower alone is actually going to give you much more speed. Like for example, like you know, like if you saw the B16A build that we did and the dyno, you would see because the manifold was ported, its peak power was over 180 from 8,000 to 9,500. It was just flatlining up top. And that's both. That's ported head and ported manifold. So it helps breathe. It's like getting a better header or better intake. It just helps breathe the engine breathe better. And in theory, if you're lacking cams, a good flowing manifold can make the engine think it has a better cam because it's breathing better. So of course, if you do both, it's gonna be even stronger. So you know, But yeah, it's hard to explain it. I mean, not really hard to explain, but it may sound like just 8 to 9 wheel horsepower, but you get the 500 RPM to 700 RPM higher. That's a lot when you're shifting, you know? And I wish I could show here, you know, the dyno graph, but I don't know how to do that. It's like, this is my first time doing this live. Hello, Belle. Seen you what you drive on your live also. I also check your live while you're driving. So lucky there's no traffic there like here. Here, if I do live while I'm driving, it's not moving. Yeah, going back with you, Alan. So, you know, but like, let's say, depending on your setup, let's say, um, tell me more about your setup, whether we can see the possible gains that you could get, or, you know, if you don't need it, or if you need it, you know, it'll give us a better idea. Because the, let's say, a B20 VTEC alone, even if it's not that high of a compression, the the fact that it's a 2 liter, the displacement is big enough that it can actually breathe better with a better breathing manifold. So, you know, the hard part is actually on the B16 and B18 because they're quite small. So, and usually the Type R manifold is actually perfect for a B18, not a B16. So, you know, it's okay, but I'd rather have a P30 on the B16. Ah, there. If you have an Ultra Street, that's already better than this. But that is also why some get to port the Ultra Street for even more improvements. Like for example, if you have BC2 cams, so Brian Crowder, right? If you feel like going to, let's say, Skunk2 Pro 3, instead of going to Skunk2 Pro 3 and changing even the valve springs, you can have your Ultra Street ported. It may give you close to the gains that you would get as if you're changing cams, which is less work for the engine. You know, it'll let it breathe harder or better. So yeah, but going back, if you have an Ultra Street, your manifold is already a lot better than this. Than a Type R, non ported or non-ported, Ultra Street is still better. I mean, I wish I had an Ultra Street here, but I've cleaned up a few Ultra Street, and I can promise you, the entry, this entry here is bigger, right? The Ultra Street is about like this big, so the taper is even better, you know. So you have, like, it's funny to say this, but you have the airspeed that this manifold could dream to have. So you know, you have an advantage there. That's a good setup, by the way. Ah, on the roughness, yeah, that's actually, if you're capable of removing the intake manifold on your own, you can smooth it out easily, and by not ruining it, like by not reshaping it, just go with the 120 grit. Because 80 grit, when you stay too long, it starts to eat up. It starts to carve up aluminum. But the 120 grit will take forever to actually carve up. So what you're gonna do is just smooth out the porosity or the roughness. So that would be good. This is actually 120 grit if you look at it. So if you're gonna get it like this, you just need to have a small spray bottle like this. I mix it with like half ethyl alcohol and half soapy water or dishwashing soap. As you can see, that's why it always has bubbles when you spray it up. See the bubbles there? I realized when I started using this with 120 grit, it gives this kind of finish. Without this, to get this finish, I would need to go to 240, which tends to become more costly. So, you know, I just stick with 120 and just use this. So that, you know, hopefully that helps. But yeah, that's the other advantage you have with the Ultra Speed. You don't have to cut it this way, you know. It's just an Allen bolt. Just remove the Allen. It's opened up. So if if ever you can remove the intake manifold, you can maybe spend a weekend playing with that. Just make sure it's just 120 grit. Don't use a carbide cutter, like because it's gonna start to change the shape. Yep. Actually, I wish I had the ultra sheet here to just to show you guys, but yep. Once if you get it removed, it's gonna be easy. And there's just 120 grit. You can just buy like a sanding roll. I think the easier sanding roll that you can get through eBay is something like this. So choose something that's 120 grit. Maybe get two or three, and that's gonna be like really fun and easy. Because the Ultra Street is bigger, so this will be able to move more. Well, whereas with the cast type bar, look, there's not much space. So yeah, I think with that, you can actually make your Ultra Street a little better by doing that touch up. So yep, just stick with 120 grit and get a spray bottle and some soapy water, and that'll be good. I mean, like once you get to do that on any future videos, just comment down an update. Like I'd like to know how fun it got you, and I'm pretty sure you would almost instantly feel the improvement. And then if it's needing an extra tune, that's even better. Because if it needs to be tuned, that also means the improvement of the intake manifold was greater than what the ECU can give. So that means that's good. Yep. Soon as I get a hold of an Ultra Street, I'm trying to get, because I did an Ultra Street manifold for a B18 many years, like before the pandemic. And before the pandemic, I didn't have the channel, so I didn't know I was gonna take videos, and if I knew, I would have taken lots of videos of it. Sadly, until now, the car is still running good, so doesn't need to be rebuilt. Ah, nice, good. That's really good power. So I think by doing this small cleanup that you're gonna do, that might touch 242, maybe 240, but it's gonna definitely gonna improve some. So it's gonna be good. And the funny thing is, by doing that, it might actually also improve fuel efficiency. Like it might consume less because it's more responsive. So you step on the gas a little lesser than usual. So you're gonna be saving up more. So that's some good numbers right there. That's the one thing I like about Brian Crowder camps. They're also quite consistent. One more cigarette. Get this here. Dude, my goodness, I remember you from Honda Tech. And it makes me so happy that you still have your 92 stroke engine. Yep, I remember all of that. And you also have the IB spec ported manifold, right? I think, I can't remember. Oh yeah, with the LS fifth, that's definitely good on the highway. Yeah, I wouldn't sell it either if it was mine. So it's pretty good. I remember my old friend before he passed away. His race engine here in the Philippines was exactly like your setup, like 85 bore, 92 stroke, and it was actually the first ever 10-second runner here, way back. When we think back, when we think about it, we're all that slow back then. 10.9 seconds was like a national record here, all motor. Now it's like almost mid nines. Crazy. Hey, thanks, Michael. Koczeka, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I mean, I always read it in Honda Tech, but you're from Finland, right? I mean, I think. I'm not sure. No, I'm just wondering because later on I want to check out the time difference so that I'm aware of the time where you guys are here. Because it's the first time trying this out, this live, so next time I'll just try to make the time better for you guys. Oh, they're Hungary. Oh, wait. You also have the N9, the fabricated manifold, right? The aluminum fabricated one. That's really good. Like one of my friend's customer had that, and it's funny because wherever they try it, it just keeps making power. They tried it on a B18 Type R, it made more power. They tried it on a B20 VTEC, it made more power. I'm like, that's such a nice manifold from N9. Yeah, so I forgot. I just remember right now how it's Hungary. And my reference point back then in Honda Tech days was you're from where they host the Formula One races. Because I always, until now, I always watch F1. So, yep, in Hungaroring, right? Yeah, Rocket Cams is quite consistent too, so that's really decent. Oh man, you get to go to Hungary. Oh man, I hope you get to try to get some even just short clips and just post it up there in YouTube, and I'd like to check it out. It's like really nice. The only time I see Hungaroring is on TV when I'm watching F1, and it's such a nice track, especially the second half on the backside before they go back to the pit lane entry. I love all the turns there. The almost like a U-turn. Oh, Jan. We're from Antipolo actually. Jan Jeremiah Buenaventura. I'll be a racist of me, but just, yeah, definitely know you're a Filipino, but that's kind of racist. But we have to admit, we know the names of our fellows. I think this is the first time I've tried doing this live. I think this is gonna be easy, or at least very doable for me. when I'm building an engine, like when it's on the final assembly. Once it's all cleaned up, I'm gonna install the crankshaft, pistons, because every time I install something, like let's say I'll install piston number one, then I can get back to you guys and talk a bit. Then piston number two and three, and but like this on this manifold here, this might finish in like 3 months. Because I do a bit here and then talk to you guys. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's fun, but I think it's gonna be a lot more fun when I'm also building an engine. So I'll definitely keep that in mind and get it ready for live when I'm building an engine. Because we'll have a lot of good topics and stuff to talk about. So that's very good. Hey, thanks, man. Here, I'm just to share what I'm doing. As you guys notice, I'm putting it up to just about here. You know, this way it maintains a decent taper. This way, from here all the way to this flange by the head, it's gonna stay within the size of the head itself, so it won't be too big. But if you can see here, it's gonna have really good taper. Like on this angle here, you can see. So I'm working on it until here, so it's gonna give a decent taper, and then I can just start reaching it from this side. You can see there, almost there. But I don't touch the last half inch, as you can see here. This way it gives me room to port match it to whatever head it's gonna be. Oh, there. I was wondering about Mike. I was wondering about what your previous message. I didn't get to answer, but actually, it depends. It depends on the engine. Like for example, if it's a B16, then maybe it'll be quite hard to get 10 HP. But if it's a B20 that's already lacking in manifold because of the P30, that might help. But I think the 74 might be a little too big because you would like something that's close to your intake pipe, which is like our intake pipe is around 3 inches all the time. I mean, usually, so that's like around 76 millimeter. So you would like a bit of taper before it gets to the throttle. So a 70 millimeter throttle might be the biggest that's ideal. But yeah, going back, it really depends on the engine. If the engine is, needing more ability to breathe, that might help. But if it's like, let's say, if it's a B16, the P30 might be okay as it is. Because many won't admit, but if they have a B16A engine and then they put a Type R manifold, they actually lose a bit of mid range until they run higher compression pistons and CAL or CTR cams, because the engine is already small. It's not demanding that much air. So yeah, it really depends on what engine it is. Oh, it's a B20 VTEC. Well, the 74 millimeter throttle body might be, you know, way too big for the P30 intake manifold. So, yep, there, like Koczeka did say, he's from way back in Honda Tech, he was already at it when I was starting. So, he's dyno tested a lot more. So there you go. That makes sense. Actually, that seems more realistic. Between 62 millimeter to 68 was about 6 HP gain max. That makes sense. So I think for you, Mike, you can just stick with the 70 millimeter throttle. That's gonna be more than enough. And you'll definitely gain at least 6 HP, just like what Koczeka found. Because at least with the compression you have is pretty decent, and then of course the header breathes could give the breathing room, so it's gonna be good. Yeah, it's something odd with 68 millimeter that almost all of us use 68 millimeter, which is because it's a good roundup for between B18 to B20, 2 liter, and all that. Actually, this is for an ITR that's cammed, but stock block, but it has Skunk 2 cams. It actually runs 68 millimeter too. So that's good enough there. Mike, if you have the 74 millimeter on hand, you can actually, post that up on the marketplace on Facebook. You can sell it and, get a 68 millimeter. Or if you don't need to sell, just set it aside, for when you go with Ultra Street, then maybe that could work. Yep. Although the last Ultra Street I got to do with a B18 that had the Pro One already did 207 wheel horsepower on just the 68 millimeter, but it had an Ultra Street intake manifold, so it was capable of going 74, but it was not that needed. Wait, let me get this phone. If you guys are still looking here, here's the manifold. Yep, it's far from done. It's actually gonna have a new video about this because this was ported earlier in 2018 by me for my friend, but now he's gonna dyno again. So we decided to actually port it and update it like as if I would do the manifolds now. And the reason why I unclipped the phone is to show you guys. Here's the porting bench. Yeah, pardon the crudeness, and then you turn here. That's where I always sit when you see the videos. Remember? Yep. I just use this clip here. See, I just turned it. Just turn this. Then it goes all the way here. Can't hold that there. But yep, there's nothing much on the table now, so yep. So yeah, hopefully when we get to rebuild an engine, I will do this again. But I think I would do this live when it's like 9 p.m. here in the Philippines. So hopefully that's like a decent time for you guys. But I'll still try to figure out what days because we gotta go home. But at the same time, since it's so nice to see you guys, all the common names here that I always see in the comments, then it tells me I could actually post on the community and talk about, the attempted schedules for it. This way, we would know, we would all be ready. True, I agree, Sherry Hilbert. This for and for a boosted manifold that that accommodates the 74 to 76 millimeter with a correct with a actually correct exhaust that's 76 millimeter. That's gonna be really good. Actually, no, we haven't really float tested this, but all the manifold we did, we always dyno the engine. So when we're done, and yep, we always get at least 6 to 8 wheel horsepower gains, sometimes 10, depending on the engine. But the interesting part is we gain 500 to 700 RPM on the range. Just like if you check out the B16A that we did, the peak power was between 8,500 all the way to 9,500. It just wouldn't go down. Now, if that was a stock ITR manifold, it wouldn't be like that, right? But yeah, I'll try to figure out how to show you guys pictures when I'm doing this live. This way, it gets to answer you guys better. Because, you know, I could probably have a laptop and then have it all ready. So whenever you guys have a question like this, I could yank the phone and then face it on the laptop, or I don't know. I'll just figure it out because I have. This is the first time I tried this live, and thank you guys. Thanks to everyone here from Koczeka, Alan, Sherry Hilbert. Sounds like a VW guy. VW. I mean, I love VW Beetles, air cooled stuff. So that's. But yep, thanks guys. We'll try to get this. We're gonna try to get this. What do you call this? More consistent. Because I didn't realize it was this fun to actually get to talk to you guys on the fly. Granted, I didn't get to do much on the manifold. Like, well, it just got shiny, but I think it's gonna be a lot more fun when I'm assembling an engine and you guys are there. So, like for example, you guys can ask me about the piston rings. We're right there. I can show it right away, right? Oh man, that's a good base engine. B18 LSV Tech. I mean, if you haven't before if you haven't really converted it into VTech with let's say with a B16 head, you can still enjoy it, get the tuning side of it really good. So it's gonna be really fun. Hey, Backwoods, what's up? What time is it? Where are you from? I mean, if you don't mind me asking. I mean, it's the first time I try this live, so I'm trying to check on the time frame where it'll work for everyone. I know it's gonna be impossible or hard, but hey, it's worth a try, right? And I hope the sound is good. Like, I don't have to get a microphone, but well, I mean, I can get a microphone if it's needed, but well, it's a Sunday here, so the shop is quiet. So I guess Oh, it's already got a B16 head. Oh, that's a nice engine you got there. Yep, you can slowly get it to run good if it's already got the halt tech. That's perfect. Ooh, all right. That's noted. In the East Coast, so I'm trying to list down the time zones, or just to be able to do the live again when everyone is not being disturbed. So yep, it's interesting. Oh, okay, yeah, LA time. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so I guess even if ever it's on a weekday, but around sometime around this time is actually pretty decent because I see everyone here. But unless everyone has work the next day. But yeah, on the next few live I'll try. Especially I'm trying to, hopefully we're gonna assemble an engine so we can do the live and it's gonna be more interesting. Well, this is interesting too, but when installing the pistons, that's pretty cool. It's gonna be a good conversation piece, right? So yep, we're gonna do that soon. But I'll definitely announce it on the post in the community and even on the page. I actually didn't even post this on the page because actually I didn't plan this. I was just had nothing to do Sunday morning, so I was like, maybe I'll just go to the workshop. And then at the workshop, I still wasn't sure I was going to do this. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. So yep, nice seeing you guys. Imagine Nathan, Backwoods Tuner, Sherry Hilbert, really cool, and Alan and Koczeka, my main man, the guy from Hungary. All right, thanks guys. Wait, how do you stop this?